Now, Vario has been on the scene for quite some time, and I've had the privilege to get my hands on several from their unique collections. This is not a unique watch. This is a bare bones solar quartz field watch that you'd be happy to take with you on all your adventures. Now, welcome back to the channel. I'm Chase, and this is All Things Random. This isn't normally what you see, but because, like I said, I'm redoing the studio right now, this is kind of what you get. So if you're here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help the channel. And as always, details first, then you'll see my beautiful mug at the very end for my opinions. The Vario 1945 A11S World War II Field Watch is a remix of history with a message of peace. Now, if you notice, the removal of the second hands is replaced with a single, simple disc that has a contrasting dot that allows the wearer to witness the movement of time while representing a shift away from the tools of war. That is what Vario says about this 1945 A11S World War II field watch, and it is a great message of peace. Now, the case diameter of this is 40 millimeters in diameter. The case thickness is going to be 9.5 millimeters thick. The lug to lug is going to be 48 millimeters, so it's not actually going to wear too large on the wrist. It's actually going to wear perfectly. The strap width, or the lug width here, is 20 millimeters, and it does come on a Cadora black strap. This is a great strap for the field. This is tough, it's durable, it's waterproof, and they actually offered another style of strap. This is a leather strap, which of course you really don't want to wear out in the field simply because leather will tend to sort of deteriorate when it gets wet. This is a German leather strap. You can see right there on the back, German leather. Very high quality, and again, I love what Vario is doing with their timepieces. Now, the case itself has a multi-layered finish effect. On the top, directly from the top down on the bezel, it is brushed. Slightly off to the side, you can see that it does have a high polished edge. Then the case itself is brushed all the way around with chamfered edges, giving it a nice pleasing pop to the eye. Now, one of the reasons why you'd want something like a brushed finish on your field watch is simply because it hides the dings and scratches a lot better. Field watches are meant to be worn in the field, which means they're going to be dinged up. The case is 316L stainless steel, and it does only have a push-pull crown, so it does offer 50 meters of water resistance. This is not that big a deal, 50 meters of water resistance, simply because you can wear it, if you're trekking around in the rain, get it splashed, not a big deal. I would have preferred to see 100 meters of water resistance, but 50 meters is just enough. And just because something says 50 meters or 30 meters of water resistance, there tends to be a misconception or misunderstanding of what water resistance is when it comes to watches. I've had this on several videos in the past, to include the last video I did, had 30 meters of water resistance, and people were like, oh, are you ever going to go down 30 meters? It's not the same. These things are tested in pressure chambers, and they're tested in a static environment, so they're not moving around. The moment this starts moving around, pressure waves tend to add more pressure on certain areas, and often the crown is the vulnerable place. So even with a gasket system that says 50 meters of water resistance, this of course isn't being submerged slowly, it's being moved around on your wrist, and sometimes quite traumatically. Because of that, you can get a pressure wave of water that can intrude into the watch. So just because it says 30 meters of water resistance, that's splash resistant. 50 meters would be the minimum water resistance needed for a field watch. Inside this watch is, of course, the Solar Quartz Miyota 2170. This thing means it has a 4-month battery life on a full charge under strong sunlight for approximately 25 hours or so. Now, if it's not sunny, about 60 hours on a cloudy day. So basically, if you're out moving around on a sunny day for 2 days, this will stay charged for 4 months in complete darkness if you toss it in your drawer. And if you're outside for, a few days, maybe a week, and it's cloudy, it's going to fully charge also. Now, the dial is done very nicely, sticking to the Field Watch look, black textured with white lume indices and a lume chapter ring all the way around. The hands are sword hands and they're filled with lume, making it extremely easy to read in low light conditions. The lume on this watch is going to be WW2 Swiss Luminova, which is quickly becoming the industrial standard. Now, one of the things that I really do love about this is the actual solar unit that collects the light is not within the dial itself. Oftentimes, when it comes to solar quartz watches, to include Citizen themselves, they will make the dial finish specific to incorporate sort of like the solar panel or the solar cells within the dial itself. Instead, they chose to put the solar cell around the outside chapter ring, where you'd see a Rehaunt on something like a Rolex, so it blends seamlessly into the watch itself. It has a red arrow at the 12 o'clock position, Vario printed in black just below, making it so extremely clean and so extremely clear and very well done. Even up close, the quality control is immaculate, which is what I've come to expect from Vario in the past. And here's the watch on my 7¼ inch wrist. You can see that lug to lug of 48 millimeters actually wears quite nicely. The one thing you have to understand about the Cordura strap is it does take some time to break in this hard padded canvas, but it is the most durable out of this and the leather. But let's go ahead and do a quick strap change. Then I'll show you an alternative strap you can add onto this that may be an upgrade to Vario's already awesome straps. And here's the watch on that olive green German leather strap. Far, far more comfortable than the Cordura, but of course this is going to be more durable. That being said, this gives a very nice vintage military feel if you're wearing that button-up olive green shirt, open with your chest hairs just flowing in the wind. This thing is just rugged as hell. But if you want something more like a NATO strap, let me show you an alternative. Now here's the watch on one of the newest additions to the Chase strap lineup. This is going to be a tan, more nylon NATO strap. So similar to the Cordura strap, this thing is slightly more stiff, but this thing is almost completely stain resistant. So unlike some of your NATO straps that you wear that are more cloth or, are softer, they tend to get dirty, they tend to get grimy, and this is not going to be this. Let me show you what it looks like on the wrist. And here's the watch on my wrist. Again, 7¼ inches. This thing is 40 millimeters, 48 lug to lug. And if you want something like this Chase NATO strap on it, check out Chase straps down below. This is a new lineup, and these aren't going to be out till probably September 1st. I'm trying to push for August 15th. I just need to go ahead and take some photos and put them up on the website. But if you're interested, check out the links down below. Now, one of the great things about field watches is their easy to read legibility, and Vario has really done a really good job doing this and making it their own. One of the things that I truly love about the watch itself is the black textured dial, then the black like the super black Vario writing just underneath the 12 with the red arrow just above the 12. It's these little details that I think is more important, and it shows you that they are really diving into their design. They've really thought it out, and they didn't just want to put a watch out there that has some military history. Now, when it comes to the secondhand disc, now I like the fact that they use the disc because I'm not a big fan of the ticking secondhand, even though I do have a Grand Seiko 9F quartz. I'm not the biggest fan of the ticking hand just because to me I feel like it cheapens the watch, even though this is a solar quartz. So I do like the fact that it did the small disc with the white contrasting dot as a symbol of peace. Also, it just makes the aesthetic a little bit better. This thing is easy to read. It's very legible. Everything is done really well, even under the macro lens. There's no problems. And in any Vario watch I've had my hands on in the past, there hasn't been any issues with quality control there either. Vario is a very well-known and established micro brand, and they're putting out some pretty good watches. Now this watch is under 200 bucks. So for a solar quartz watch and I forgot to mention that it has a piece of dead flat sapphire crystal on the top, of course. Love the NATO strap from Chase Straps, my own personal watch strap company. But the thing is extremely durable, under 200 bucks, has a solar quartz movement, and you'd be hard pressed to find another watch that could stand up to this for the price point. You could argue that for 400 bucks, you can buy the Hamilton Khaki Field hand winding watch. And yes, it does have Swiss heritage, but you go back to the point that you have to hand wind it every time you want to use it. One of the reasons I like the Grand Seiko 9F Quartz is simply because it's a set it or forget it watch. So in one day, 24 hours of direct sunlight or 60 hours of a very cloudy day, this thing is going to be fully charged for 4 months. So like I said earlier in the video, if you're out camping or you're out adventuring and you put this on your wrist for about 2 days in the sun, like standard time walking around, then it's going to be fully charged for 4 months. So you can literally go out camping. It could be sunny. You could fall into a crevasse or a cave and be in the complete darkness for 4 months, and you'll still know exactly what time it is while you're slowly dying. Anyway, if you're still here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I will leave a link down below for this Vario. And do me a favor, hit the notification bell because I got a lot of videos coming up. And look forward to the new studio. I'll see you guys in the next one.